Today we're talking about the white string. During the 1980s, this was a popular legend in Japan, and it scared a lot of children into not wanting to get their ears pierced. So a young girl wanted to get her ears pierced, but her parents were against it because they thought she was too young. After a lot of begging, her parents finally agreed to let her. They gave her money and told her to go to the jewelry store at the mall to get them pierced. But instead, she decided to keep the money and do it herself. With the help of her best friend, they heated a needle and did the piercings on their own. It was painful, but she was happy she got them pierced. However, sometime after, her ears got irritated and swollen, specifically her left ear. She went to the restroom to take a closer look and noticed something sticking out. It was a white string sticking out of her earlobe. She began to pull on it and realized it had no end. Finally, she used a pair of scissors to cut the string. Then everything went black. She couldn't see and she was rushed to the ER. She was examined, and that's when the doctor said, "I'm sorry, you'll be blind for the rest of your life." That wasn't a white string, that was an optic nerve. Today we're talking about El Tabudo. This legend originates in El Salvador. El Tabudo is also known as a man with big knees. According to the legend, he was once a wealthy fisherman who was taken by the sea. He eventually reappeared as something more fish than man, his signature being his large knobby knees, so basically like a mutant fish man. He now awaits all visitors at lakes and lagoons, appearing to people as a humble fisherman to win their trust. He does this so he can lure them into the middle of the lake, and once he gets his victims where he wants them, he reveals his true appearance and turns men into large, colorful fish, and women into sirens of the sea.
Urban legends from every state. The Hatchet House in Portal, Nebraska. Legend says that in the early 1900s, a school teacher went mad and decapitated all of her students and placed their severed heads on each of their desks. She then removed each one of their hearts and threw them off a bridge into a nearby river. The locals call it Heartbeat Bridge. As you walk across the shuddering boards, it sounds like little tiny heartbeats. What state is next?
Today we're talking about the Japanese urban legend called Teke Teke. Also, this is just the overview of the whole story. There was once a schoolgirl who was said to have fallen onto a railway line. She died by having her body cut in half completely by a train. The spirit of the girl is said to lurk in urban areas of Japan and in train stations at night. Because she was cut in half, her spirit is unable to reconnect her lower half, so she moves only on her hands while dragging her upper body. When she encounters a victim, she chases them down and slices them in half, killing them to resemble her own disfigurement.
Hey spooky friends, this next urban legend brings "Why So Serious" to the table. I know it sounds weird, but anyways, a woman approaches you wearing a mask or a scarf over her face and she asks you, "Am I pretty?" You better have the right answer, because it might just be Kuchisake Ona. The legend states that this beautiful woman was accused by her husband of cheating on him, and she was. In anger, he knocked her unconscious, tied her up, and in a fit of rage took scissors to her mouth, giving her this awful grin. Disfigured, she's murdered by her husband and returns as a malicious spirit. She always wants to know one thing: am I pretty? She's also known as the slit-mouthed woman and comes from the 17th century. There is no right way to answer her question. Before you can answer, she'll often show you her toothy smile, because you can see everything that's going on right there. Am I pretty now? You either have to give her candy or outsmart her by asking if you're pretty too to run away. Ugh.